Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and be sure to check out my upcoming free live stream concert, Freebeat Live, Home Edition Volume 2. It's on Saturday, February 13th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the channel. Hope to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get started. Welcome to Starting Over. I'd buy this first, second, third, Part 4. This was a little mini-series where I pretended that my electronic music journey was starting over from square one, and I picked the first 3 pieces of gear that I would buy. Those being, in order, the Korg NTS-1, the PO32 Tonic, and the Arturia Microfreak. If you haven't seen parts 1, 2, and 3 of this little series, they are linked down in the description below. I do recommend checking those out, as this was pretty fun to make. Anyway, today I wanted to wrap things up by addressing a comment that I got on part 3 of this series, and it's actually a comment that I've seen more and more frequently on some of my other videos as well, and it says, "Get real gear, those are toys." So I just want to give my thoughts on that sentiment, and I don't have a script or anything, so I'm just gonna kind of go off the top of my head here. Because I've seen these kinds of instruments referred to as toys before, particularly the pocket operators and the smaller stuff from Korg, such as the Volcas and the NTS-1 and the Monotrons. I kind of have a difficult time understanding how the Microfreak would count as a toy. I know it is on the cheaper side. All the oscillators are, digital and whatnot. But I think this thing is just fantastic, and to call this a toy would be an immediate disservice to it. But we will be focusing mainly on the POs and the NTS-1 and that kind of smaller stuff today. I just wanted to have these instruments out set up like this because this is the end result of parts 1, 2, and 3 of this little series. Music is subjective, right? It's the reason that I can say Rush is my favorite band of all time and then go and hate country music, and it's also the reason that someone else can absolutely despise progressive rock but think that Keith Urban is the best musician on the planet. By extension, doesn't that mean that the gear that we use to create the music is also subjective? I think it does. So who's to say what's real gear and what's toys, In my opinion, the main point of music, the main reason we create music, is to express ourselves. Again, something that is incredibly subjective. Every single person is different. And depending on the genre and styles of music that you like, the individual sounds you like, you're going to want to have different gear. So there are people out there that would have more fun with a Korg NTS-1 than they would with a $100,000 Steinway piano. I'm not saying that's everybody, and I'm not saying that's nobody. There are people out there that would enjoy the NTS-1 more than a Steinway that costs, an almost infinite amount higher than this. Different gear is going to bring different enjoyment to different people. So how dare you say, get real gear, these are toys? In my opinion, that's one of the rudest things you could say to someone. And I know getting worked up over one, YouTube comment, even if I've seen it, probably a couple dozen times by this point, is probably petty, but I feel like it needs to be said because I feel that there might be some folks out there that are on the fence about picking up some of this gear. Maybe they're just getting into music for the first time, electronic or not. The pocket operators are a fantastic first step to take into the world of music, whether you want to be an acoustic or electric musician or a hybrid of both. And maybe that person sees a comment that says, get real gear, these are toys. And maybe that is enough to push them on the wrong side of the fence, where they're like, well, I want to get into music, but I don't want to buy toys. I want to buy some real gear. They wind up spending a whole bunch of money on something that is way too complex or complicated for them to use. Or, worst of all, they just don't make the leap into the world of music because they're discouraged. Sure, I'd rather have a Roland Phantom than a Korg NTS-1, but that doesn't devalue the Korg NTS-1 at all. In fact, value per dollar, the NTS-1 might be more valuable than a Roland Phantom. I don't know. They can do a lot. I would really like a Phantom. However, you know what you cannot do with a Phantom? Throw it in a tiny little carrying case in your backpack and make sick grooves everywhere. Literally practice programming and come up with beats and grooves that speak to you and get you excited rhythmically and wanting to create on the go. You can't do that with a Phantom. In fact, you can't do that with a lot of real gear. So it kind of irks me when I so often see the pocket operators referred to as toys. because yeah, they look like little calculators. You know, they're less than $100 a piece. They run on AAA batteries, and they're just kind of dinky feeling. But you can get some really, really good stuff out of these if you know what you're doing and if you spend enough time with it. There is no other piece of gear that can do what the P033KO does at the price and size of the P033KO. There is nothing else that even comes close. And I know there's mobile apps, but I'm talking hardware. Nothing comes close to what this can do at $90 US. The P020 Arcade is basically a chiptune groove box that costs $60 US, fits in the palm of your hand, and can actually crank out some pretty full sounding tracks if you are into the arcade chiptune sound. Which again, if you are into these sounds, these are the devices for you, and it does not get much more real gear than the pocket operators. So I don't know, I didn't mean to get like angry, and I'm not really angry, but to me it harkens back to my days in the jazz scenes around where I live, and the kind of gatekeeping that goes on. There's a lot of snobbiness, there's a lot of elitist attitude, and it's the reason I left the local jazz scene. I was a part of it. I was one of those snobs, and I don't know, one day it just kind of clicked that it's like, this is wrong. Like, why are we judging people, you know, that want to go out and play music so hard? You know, as long as those people are nice and they're good about it and they're not running their mouth about you or anyone else, there's just no room for it, and it's so limiting in the music community. There's no reason to go tell someone that, like, oh, the gear you're using is not real, or oh, the music you're playing is not real, or oh, you're new to music? Yeah, you shouldn't even try. That's essentially what that says to me. There's no room for that. We need to be building each other up rather than pulling each other down. So just my 2 cents on those comments. If you hear someone say that the pocket operators, the NTS-1, the Monotrons, the Volcas, the Microfreak, any of the gear that we all love so much isn't real, if you hear someone try to invalidate that gear, you can tell them that's okay. You know, that's their opinion, and maybe it's not real to them, but it's very real to us, it's very real to me, and I know that it's very real to a lot of you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed this little series. I, of course, still stand by my 1, 2, and 3 picks of the NTS-1, the Tonic, and the Microfreak. If you did enjoy this series, please go ahead and leave a like on it. If not, leave a dislike, that's okay. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. This series was a lot of fun to make, and you guys have all responded very positively, so thank you so much. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.